Hello everyone, welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. You're listening to episode 67, 2 weeks away from the nice episode. My name is Patrick, I'm joined by Saif.
Hi.
And I guess Steve is here too.
Hello! Laugh.
Wait, that was a lot more enthusiastic than I was going to give him
Hey,
credit
I
for.
survived that one.
Poo yourself.
What?
I'm seeing if Seth follows my command.
I
said
do
laugh
not.
before. In the pre-show, I said laugh, and then Seth laughed, so I assumed if I said poop
let's just
himself,
talk about stuff that
he'd poop.
happened off recording. That's always a great
Yeah?
bit.
Yeah, well, I'm sure if people want to pay the $3 a month for whatever we do that, it'll be great. Then they can get the pre-show ramble as well.
Oh
And
yeah,
us-
no, I love the idea of our first Patreon exclusive recording is just a 10-second clip of Steve yelling laugh and then Seth going, why did that work? That's real $3 a month content if I've ever heard it.
Hey, there are a lot of people with money out there to burn.
I mean, probably true.
I feel
at
like
least-
our Patreon goals are pretty subpar compared to other people.
Well, at
you
least
just-
that's until we get desperate enough to start doing nude and lewd acts.
Actually, you know what? This is a good segue to what I want to discuss today. Do you guys actually pay for anyone's Patreons?
I do not.
I don't either.
I've subbed to a few people on Twitch just to give them some income because I watched them a lot, but nothing on Patreon.
Yeah, there are a couple people who, if I had weirdly, okay, maybe this is a segue into a tangentially related point. The reason I don't support a couple people on Patreon is because I don't have a Patreon account. But if I did have a Patreon account, there'd be maybe 3 to 4 people who I know that I probably would support. It's just the idea of having to go and set up an account that would it's just too much of a burden for it to be worthwhile.
Yeah, for me, it's more I burn through my money really fast as it is with rent and other things.
That's crazy. I also burn through your money really quick.
If I had the additional income, I'd probably chuck a few dollars to some creators that I really enjoy their content.
All right, drop them. Which creators? Call them out. Start some drama.
Okay,
Oh, boy,
the first one is Gigaboots. I really enjoy their podcast stuff.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, Gigaboots. Seth said that you smell.
I heard that his feet are too big.
What?
Because he's got gigaboots. Oh, is that the reason?
okay,
Is that the reason you like them? Because of the feet thing? I should have guessed.
That's Josh's
Steve,
thing. Patrick,
yeah,
back
Josh
me up.
is
That's
away.
Josh's thing, right?
It is.
Good deflection, I guess.
He has become what he fears the most.
Gigaboots makes a
Gigaboots,
lot of
cool.
long-form content, and being someone that likes a lot of long-form content, I can just throw them on while I'm working, and it gets me through the workday.
Fair enough. Steve, anyone you want to drop as people that you would support with Patreon? Actually, you didn't even answer your own question. Do you? The way you phrased it makes it sound like you don't, but
No, I don't. There's no way.
that's because all your money goes to OnlyFans, right?
Yeah. Still,
Is it
this
still
is-
Josh's OnlyFans? Because his
No,
content is dried right the hell up recently.
No,
He
it's,
also
it's-
refuses to do any feed content, which is really weird considering his preferences.
You really are bringing up feet again, Seth. I'm giving OnlyFans to my girlfriend who lives up the coast. You wouldn't know her. She goes to a different school.
Ah, yeah,
Are
of
you
course.
also her only fan?
Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
Glad to hear it, buddy.
Contractually obligated to say yes.
Hopefully her boyfriend buys me the new Switch.
The Switch
we
OLED or
all-
the Switch?
The Switch.
The Swoled. Ooh, hang on. Hey, bodybuilders.
Swoled's actually kind of a good name. I haven't heard that one yet. That one's good.
I
That one's
literally
good.
just made it up.
Yeah.
See?
I mean, it's no Switch, but it's getting there. It's getting there.
The trick is just to talk and eventually you'll say something funny.
Well, I mean, you've been trying that for 67 episodes. How's that
I
working
finally
out?
got one. Laugh.
What? Hey, 1 out of 67. I've seen worse ratios. Cool. Anyone that you would support if you did have Patreon, Steve?
I probably would support PKMN Cast, which is like a Pokemon podcast. I've listened to them since 2019, but I went back and listened to their episode 1, which took place in 2009. So I feel like I literally listen to 3 or 4 episodes a week to catch up, for lack of a better word. it feels like I've definitely got a parasocial relationship. And it's sort of seen the evolution of him going from a normal job and having a podcast as a side hustle to having to do Twitch full time and all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty interesting. But I do not give him money at this stage.
Cool. And I guess for completeness, I have three that are top of who I'd support. And of course, that's just what comes to mind now. It might be that I wake up tomorrow and go, shit, I forgot about someone because I just digest so much content on YouTube. But the three that commonly bounce around as people that I would support on Patreon. Rubes, who is a Kiwi game creator. He's the one that you might have seen doing the Simpsons Hit and Run in Unreal Engine Remaster.
Very cool.
So he, as part of the Patreon offer, does tutorials and things, which if I somehow had free time, which I already don't, would be probably quite interesting to look into. So he'd be one. Also, fellow Kiwi, gotta support. Two, Ramesses B, one of my favorite artists over in the UK. Similarly, he also, so his main music is sort of EDM type stuff. And he also does tutorials as part of his Patreon subscription. And then three, I'm pretty sure Yume has a Patreon. Might be wrong on that. But a Chinese American artist who just does really cool looking artwork. And that's just to support people in art because Jesus Christ, is AI about to fuck them royally.
Yeah. Hopefully they all claim it on their taxes.
Speaking of claiming things on tax, I got a few things I can probably do when that comes up in a few months.
I'm sending in that conversation,
cool.
right?
Wow, what great content, Seth. Can't wait for the Seth's Taxes podcast review.
It's
now I'm just going to put in this whole ass computer.
No, you know what? I take that back. I'm going to go on holiday somewhere, and then it'll be you two, and therefore it'll be the tier list of top, Seth tax write-offs.
Now, let's be fair. We can't turn that into an hour because it's only probably three things I can do. It's like a table and a computer, and that's it.
We can give people
Seth,
a lot of tips.
You've been in episodes where we've had three things to talk about and gone for 2 hours.
Yeah, but those weren't tier lists. Those were actual topics of discussion. What am I going to do? Say, oh yeah, I bought a computer. That goes on the tax bracket.
Steve, do you agree? Does that go on the tax bracket?
It would depend. If it's specifically only being used for work, you probably could. But if it's a mixture of work and play in inverted commas, you'd have to use like the formula to make sure you're doing the right amount of tax.
And scene. This and other banger content is what you have to look forward to if you subscribe to Patreon for Fast Travel Lounge.
So what you want to do is when you get paid, you want to put half that money directly into your super account because then that takes that puts you into a lower tax bracket, which means when it comes down to tax time at the end of financial year, then you can claim your income at a lower tax rate, and then that means you'll be able to get more back. And plus, because you're putting your money into super, it's doing a little bit of passive growth that you don't really have.
Now, let me make sure I do that for next year's tax season.
I've got to say that was not financial advice. That was a bunch of words I just put together. Much like many things I say.
It's things you should do in Minecraft.
Why don't... Okay. That threw me way harder than it should. Why don't we go to Run the Lounge for this week, though? Starting off, I think Steve has some big news. Hinted at it end of last episode.
Yeah, so I went to that Pokemon tournament on the weekend, and I didn't actually do too bad. I didn't get whooped. Made a couple of 5 and 6 year olds cry. I cried myself when a 7-year-old beat me, but 7-year-olds are a bit too old. But no, seriously, actually, when we get to my section, I'll talk about my experience. But I'm actually very pleased with the fact that I won more than one match and I didn't fucking come last. Because I spent a lot of time there. I got there at 8:15 and I left at like 7. It was a very big day and Stevie was very tired.
Jeez. If you had a Pokemon with you that whole time, it would have leveled up from friendship.
Probably, actually, yeah. But I don't think you need Vaporeon to evolve with friendship. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
We were on such a good roll, and you're like, what if we just torpedo the conversation?
What a weird
Take
thing
it away,
to say.
Seth. What's your week been like?
Yeah, how's your Vaporeon going?
Oh, God.
I don't have a Vaporeon because my Eevee evolved with friendship and it turned into a Sylveon.
Oh.
Let me tell you, those feelers do
buddy.
things.
All right, shut up. Too far.
I don't think that's how Sylveon evolves. I think you got scammed.
No, it's true friendship, as long as it knows a fairy type move.
Pound is not a fairy type move, my man.
Baby doll eyes are, though.
You know what?
That EVP given looks.
You're out. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening.
The podcast is cancelled.
Yeah, it's amazing. We made it. That was probably a top 10 episodes that have gone the longest before someone says something controversial.
And we're not even on episode 69 for all these jokes.
Oh man, not looking forward to that one. Patrick's gonna need a stiff drink to help host that absolute train wreck of a show.
I get it, stiff.
So
that's it. You're also out. I'm gonna go find Josh. We're gonna talk about fate.
So my week consisted of 3 things. On the weekend,
Two of them were feet, left and right.
No, it's legs because I have to go for the middle one too. Anyway,
come on, man. There are children listening.
No, there aren't. I make sure to specifically mark these episodes as not for children. Anyway, on the weekend, I had to juggle watching Evo and watching WrestleMania 39. And because it came out on April Fool's Day, I also dabbled in the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. I can't believe that Hedgehog is fucking dead.
Probably
Is it
the
like
best.
is it like Who Killed Mr. Burns? A 2-part episode murder mystery?
Basically, yeah. But as a free visual novel that Sega released.
Me pulling that out of my ass did not think that it would actually be kind of close to what was released. So, man, I guess call me Raven because I'm seeing the future. All right, cool. I, after being basically asleep for last episode, I do not remember what was discussed. Slept quite a bit over the past week. Haven't actually touched a huge amount in terms of reporting back to the boys. I guess actually no. I think I brought up that I progressed a little bit in Monster Hunter Stories.
Yes, you did. You mentioned that.
Cool. I don't think I progressed any more than where I said I got to last week. But
I don't think you actually talked about how far you progressed and what did in that.
Yeah.
To be honest, not a huge amount's changed. It's been a fair amount of story, but not like report back, discuss type story.
Yeah. No.
Anyway, I'll wait for there to be a larger update to talk through it. But while I was away, Celeste went to $5, I think, picked that up and played the first couple chapters this week. Well, this last week.
Oh, nice! I've been meaning to play that for a while because a friend bought it for me.
It's interesting. I don't know if I'll spend too much on it because I don't have a huge amount to say about it yet.
$5 on it.
Yeah, okay, but I don't know how to quantify how much to talk about it for the $5 that I spent on it. But
at least
actually,
an hour.
You know what? Why don't? Okay, well, it definitely won't be an hour. That would be the old Patreon hour for $5, but not the Fast Travel Lounge cheapest chips. This is a parasocial relationship. What you going to do about it? Episode that you're listening to at the moment. And you know what? As the right of the host that I have, might as well just briefly talk about Celeste now. I actually don't remember when it came out, but super popular platformer indie game that everyone wants to speedrun because of how good the movement mechanics are. This is kind of I don't think this is a hot take, but knowing that it's a platformer, expected the jumps to be floatier. Does that make any kind of sense?
Yeah, no, I understand that. And also, for the record, it came out in 2018.
Okay, I was going to guess 2019, so 2018. Wow, that's a 5-year-old game. Damn.
But yeah, no, I understand that. Even in something like Super Meat Boy, the jumps are a little floaty and you get like a lot of movement ability to go left and right while you're jumping.
Yeah, and I think that might be because I don't want to say that Super Meat Boy is the last platformer that I played because it's not, but it's the platformer that I just sort of think, it's the platformer that I thought about while playing Celeste. Yeah,
no, you look at like the level designs of Celeste and you get a lot of Super Meat Boy vibes out of it. Yeah, and I've only played 3 chapters. I have no idea how long the game is or where I'm at relative to the game or anything. I've just met Theo, if that means anything for people that have played the story. But
I really like the aesthetic. I really like the music. Really like the music, and how when you go through menus, when you press a button in the menu, sometimes it'll do a little like piano key alongside the background music. Just a really nice little touch. I don't know.
Oh, that's always a nice touch. I love little menu things like that.
But the boost, I've wrapped my head around how the boost works in terms of like the double jump, the kind of like momentum it gives you, and where that sits and stuff. But it took me a while to get used to like how just regular jumping works, because you fall like a stone. I guess I just expected it to be a little more floaty because the whole thing was like an emphasis on platforming. Anyway, it's like a mild gripe because I think I've wrapped my head around it a bit now, but it took me longer to get used to it than I thought it would for what Celeste is, if that makes any sense. But I'm enjoying it. I'll continue playing it in bits and pieces. I don't know where it sits on the list of need to play this game before or after Monster Hunter Stories, but Stories being on Switch and Celeste being on, I have it on Steam, so it's just sort of easier to play. But yeah, I guess that's basically all I wanted to say, unless there's like a random question from either of you about Celeste.
Not really, actually.
Yeah, no, for the amount you played, I guess just knowing what you think of the controls is good enough for now.
Yeah, and the controls the controls make total sense in terms of bindings and everything. Really like how it's one of those, it's simple enough that they've got redundant buttons for everything, which I like. I'm playing with a PS4 controller, so square or circle is boost, X or triangle is jump, L2 or R2 is grab, that sort of thing. Like, it's just, you can kind of adapt it to how you want. I'm sure you can just rebind the controls as well.
It's almost SNES-like for Super Mario World, but a little inverted for the top two right side buttons. Like in the old SNES games, you'd have square or triangle as your run button and X or circle as your jump button. Yeah.
And I'm sure if you wanted to do it like that, you could rebind it, but it's just nice that there's not. I guess to put it a different way, I've seen videos from like GDQ or of people doing like Celeste races and stuff, and there's a whole bunch of I guess the mechanics, but the mechanics aren't related to the controls. The mechanics are related to how you interact with things in the world, which is a system I much prefer to. Here are a million control bindings to do all these different things.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've seen, I have no idea what they do yet, but I've seen in the control list, they're currently unbound, but one is like a crouch dash, I think, and there's another which just sounds like a movement-based move. I don't remember what the second one was, but they're not bound currently. But the fact that you can bind them, I think, is a nice touch, and can't wait to figure out what they are for when I inevitably, become a Twitch speedrunner. I was going to say the next Summoning Salt, but I realize he reports on speedruns more than he speedruns himself. Maybe he does speedrun, I don't know, but that's not the videos.
I hope that career takes off for you.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Anyway, why don't we go from Celeste to wrestling?
All right, wrestling. Okay, so WrestleMania 39 happens this weekend, and for anyone that doesn't know what WrestleMania is, it's basically the biggest show in wrestling. I don't think there's any argument you could make against that. WWE is the brand for wrestling that everyone knows, and this is the big show they do every year. This is basically like the end of season episode, if you want to think of like every calendar year of wrestling as one long season. So this event has gotten so big in the last, like, I think it's been going for 10 years now, that they've had to split it up into 2 nights. You've got half the matches on a Saturday night in America and half the matches on the Sunday night. Even across those...
Also in America?
Yes. Also in America. No, they don't suddenly change it to the Australian Sunday nights.
It would be funny, or if they all just migrate across the border and it's like America Saturday, but then Canada or Mexico Sunday.
Yeah, that would be fantastic, actually. Just full on move everyone over to the next country over. Change of venue. Give so many people, like... People come out for this as well. Like, they spend a whole week in the area, so forcing people to go take 2 different vacations would be hilarious.
And you know what? It's the sort of thing that I'd absolutely expect good old Vinny M to do.
Yeah, I'm going to touch on that in a little bit as well. But yeah, even with split it into 2 nights, there's still a lot of filler matches in these cards. Like, the first night had 8 matches, and I only cared about 2 of them. And the second night had 7 matches, and again, I only really cared about 2 or 3 of these. So there's a lot of stuff that could have been cut out. I'll just run down the list of matches, and I will skip. I'll mention them, but I won't say anything about them if I didn't care about it.
Oh no, Stevie's making a list. What do we do?
Yeah, we just gotta let it go sometimes. You gotta sit back, close your eyes, and think of not having a list.
No, I might actually just skip over mentioning some of these matches.
You're gonna skip the whole wrestling? Cool.
First match of the night, night 1 was Austin Theory versus John Cena. Big match. John Cena's coming back, doing a United States title match, and it was a really by the numbers match that I didn't give a shit about.
What do you mean by the numbers?
It's just, there wasn't anything interesting to talk about. There wasn't a lot of like big moments. It was just very standard wrestling. Like,
interesting that he was like the first fight. That's funny. I thought he was a bigger wrestler, but maybe because he's in his movies and stuff. Like,
yeah, and they want him to be very safe for the movies as well. Like, they don't want him getting hurt wrestling.
That's very true. Yeah, concussion would fucking rule him out of most things. Or a broken leg. It's like, everybody stop.
Yeah, he does like maybe 3 matches a year, and it's all at like these big events. So he doesn't do a whole lot anymore. So him taking the loss this match isn't surprising. It pushes the new stars forward a little bit and helps them out. God, I really don't want to mention this match, but the third match of the night was Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. And Logan Paul came out. Yeah. Logan Paul came out with KSI, which was like supposed to be a big near end of match reveal that this energy drink sponsor mascot character that was with Logan Paul was KSI the whole time. Yeah, Logan Paul took the loss. I hope I never see the Paul brothers in wrestling again. Like,
I thought he was like a good wrestler.
Yeah, to be fair to Logan Paul, he's a good wrestler. I just hate him as a person and never want to see him in wrestling again.
Okay. Apparently his energy drinks are quite good.
Yeah, that's what KSI was dressed as.
Well, they're illegal to be sold in Australia because it's 2 times the legal limit of caffeine in those drinks.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's very, very fucking strange. But like he did like not a meet and greet, like he was doing some stuff and like he was throwing out like the cans and stuff for people to get, and technically that's not illegal because he wasn't selling them.
Yep.
I love me a technicality.
Yeah, like you got to respect the hustle, but like no one can buy it here, so what's the point?
Yeah, how are you helping the brand at that point? Just getting the name out, I guess.
Yeah, but then at the same time, you can probably like buy it online. I don't think there's any. I think you can probably still import it. You can't buy it for sale. So if you probably buy it direct from his website for 40% markup plus tip,
and then like 50% markup on the shipping.
Yeah. Where it probably just comes in a factory and it's all done. Yeah, it's probably that kind of stuff. But I still want to get it. I still want to taste it. As someone that like enjoys coffee, it'd be very interesting to see what that drink would do to me. To have 2 times the legal limit. Anyway, yeah, that's just a little side journey about Logan Paul and KSI.
Okay, so the 5th match of the night, Rey Mysterio versus his son Dominic Mysterio. The highlights of this match is that in Dominic's entrance, he came out in a police SUV, handcuffed because he's in kayfabe storyline. He got arrested and he got sent to prison, and now he has a little teardrop tattoo underneath his left eye, but it's not a real tattoo. It's like a little paint on thing. So after his matches are done, it's always rubbed off, and he's got to reapply it every time he's going out to do a promo. So it's the most stupid shit ever, but it's also hilarious. And Rey Mysterio, he just got inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend as well, which totally owned by him. Glad that he's gotten that. And he paid respects to Eddie Guerrero by coming out in a lowrider with Snoop Dogg to Eddie Guerrero's theme. But yeah, not a whole lot happened this match. It was kind of okay, but it had some really funny moments, like Dominic was bent over against the second turnbuckle, so Rey takes off his belt and starts slapping him with it.
I saw memes about that, actually.
Yeah, I did as well.
There are
I'm not
quite
sure
a lot
then.
of memes about Rey Mysterio, the hero of wrestling, beating his son with a belt.
It's the most wrestling thing I've heard all day.
It is the most wrestling thing that happened across the 2 nights. But yeah, that was a fun match just for the domestic abuse angle of it. Next
Well,
match.
at what point is that legal domestic abuse? Like if they've agreed to fight, it's play on, but
Yeah, no, it's
Not
all
an age
it's all
thing as
played
well.
up for entertainment, and it's all in storylines. So
whoa. Wrestling's real, man. You're not going to tell me a dad and a son got in a ring to punch on, and that's fake. Yeah, good one.
That reminds me of I think it was you know what it was? It was the YouTube Creator Clash, the first one hosted by iDubbbz, and then somehow a video of one of the fights got to Joe Rogan, where one of the guys fighting, his YouTube channel was something dad. I don't remember the guy's name.
I know.
And then Joe just fucks the context completely, and he goes, "Here we have a boxing match between a father and his son,"
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
and then getting really bent out of shape at it, and everyone's just dunking on Joe. Oh man.
No, I remember seeing that. That was fucking funny. Next match is probably a contender for best match of WrestleMania for me. It was Rhea Ripley from Australia going against Charlotte Flair. No, this was just like a fantastic match throughout. They tore down the house. They really showed why women should be respected in wrestling more than they are. And potential match of the night, like just how much they threw their bodies on the line for this match was insane and really, really entertaining. So big props for them for that one. It's a shame I can't say more than that and just singing the praises of how good it was. And then to end off the night, we had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos. And if you remember when I talked about wrestling last time, I said this was the storyline they were pushing for after they made Sami Zayn lose against Roman Reigns in the title match because they were too scared to give Sami Zayn the title. So, this just played out about how you expected this storyline to play out from a month and a half ago. I'm glad that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn won the match. And actually watching the match, it was like really well done, like following the story and how well all the choreographed spots went and everything. And yeah, it was good. It was a very good match. But it was very, very predictable.
Well, like, predictable in a good way, predictable in a bad way. Like there is some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like just because it's predictable doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah, no, it's just a month and a half ago, people would have preferred that Sami Zayn had won the singles title, and it's where we are now is fine. It's still good that this is how they played it out, but there's a tinge of we would have liked something else instead. But no, this is still good where we are now. It's a bit of a weird mixed feeling.
Yeah, I don't think I get it, but play-ons are cool, I guess.
Yeah, so WrestleMania Night 2, I'm actually going to full-on skip over the first 2 matches because nothing fucking happened in them. So we get the third match, which is Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre doing a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. And this is the other contender for match of WrestleMania because this was like just an all-out brawl that was fantastic to watch. Like the commentators got so into it that they gave up commentating for real and they were just clapping and laughing and enjoying the match themselves. It was that good of a match to just sit back and watch these 3 dudes just go at it. And BT Sport WWE put up a Instagram picture where they've marked it as big meaty men slapping meat. That is their description for this match.
Fair enough. I respect that actually.
Yeah. So another fantastic match. All three of those men deserves that title as much as each other did. Gunther ended up retaining the title. I don't know where they're going to go from here because this is a SmackDown thing, and we've only had Raw since WrestleMania ended, so still pending on what's happening there. Oh, right. So, on the Wikipedia, we have here Snoop Dogg defeated The Miz by pinfall.
One more time, big fella. I think I like Snoop Dogg.
Yes. Now let me explain this a little bit. So, The Miz and Snoop Dogg were hosting WrestleMania. The first night, Snoop Dogg just throws The Miz into a match against someone, and he's not prepared, so he loses. And then they make a big fuss about it on the second night, and Snoop Dogg does it again, and he calls out Shane McMahon as his opponent for night 2. Shane McMahon gets into the ring, does one jump, and breaks his leg when he lands. So they have to...
Jesus.
So they have to quickly throw something together to make up for it. And Snoop Dogg just gets in the ring and decks The Miz twice, and then does a splash and pins him. And they just act like the match the entire time was Snoop Dogg versus The Miz, and Shane McMahon had nothing to do with it.
Oh man, one jump and you break your leg. How fucked is that?
Yeah, I think Shane is.
I can't believe that he broke his leg for the bit too.
Yeah, I know. It's like playing it up. So that it was really intense. People were really worried about his leg.
Yeah, it looked so real when his foot was pointed the wrong way.
I kind of want to mention this next one because it's a little sad how it played out. Edge versus Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell match. This could have been a much better match than it was, but they had to cut it short because there was a point where Edge threw a ladder at Finn Balor and it just bounced off his face and cut his face open. And they quickly had a referee come in, give Finn Balor a numbing agent, and stapled his head back together. And he just pushed through the match for another 5 to 10 minutes after that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, he just let it go.
Just take the L, my man.
Oh, he did. He was the one that lost the match, but no, he kept pushing through, and I feel like they could have, if he didn't get that injury, they could have pushed this match another 5 to 10 minutes. But I feel like they want to be really careful with Edge because he's close to retiring and they don't want to injure him too badly. And also Finn Balor taking that fucking ladder to the face wasn't helping. And we get to the big main event of the 2 nights, which is Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. And this is the big match where everyone's expecting Cody Rhodes to win. They played him up as being the next big face of the company. He's got like so much momentum behind him because after he left WWE like 10 years ago or something, or maybe it was 7, like around that time frame, he was a nobody at the end of his first WWE run. No one gave a shit about him. And the moment he left the company, he became huge. Like, everyone started loving him. He started getting more and more into his own wrestling style. He's made a new gimmick for himself that worked out really well. So for some people that don't know Cody Rhodes, he's the son of Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. So he's taken that kind of mantle, but instead of being the new American Dream, he's calling himself the American Nightmare. And I kind of love that. I kind of love that twist on the angle. And yes, Dusty Rhodes never won the WWE Championship when he was in his heyday. So this whole storyline is Cody Rhodes is back. He's going to finish a story. He's going to be the first Rhodes to get the WWE title. He's going to become the face of the company. And this is the time where he's like at his peak. He's like, he is the sun at this point. He's not flying too close to the sun. He is the sun and everyone's around it. And yeah, he loses in a really poorly done way. And it feels like they've given up that kind of momentum for him just so they can continue Roman Reigns' title run so that he can hit 1,000 days as champion. A record that ultimately doesn't matter to anything. And it is just an artificial title length that they keep extending out. So Cody Rhodes is already starting to lose momentum, and we've had a Raw since then. And instead of continuing like giving him another chance, they're throwing him against Brock Lesnar. And that gives Roman Reigns an excuse to just disappear for like a month and a half without having to wrestle or do anything. I don't know if he will disappear for a month, but yeah, Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar feels like the pay-per-view, the main event for the next pay-per-view, and it's just really weird that they've delayed his chance at the top, and a lot of people are predicting, oh no, this is just like adding to the storyline. He's got to rise back above where he is. Like, he's been knocked down, but he'll get back up and eventually reach that title at a later date. But to a lot of people, WrestleMania was the moment for him, and it's not going to be as good of a storyline moment if he gets it later than if he got it now, sort of thing.
And are you one of those people?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I think it was the most important time for him to get the title was WrestleMania. That's like I said before, WrestleMania is the show for wrestling. It's the biggest show for wrestling.
I get that side of it. I'm saying, are you a pro? He should win the title.
Oh yeah, no. He should have won the title already. Is where I'm at. I don't think anyone will care anymore, and I don't know if I will care anymore if he gets the title later down the line. Like, for all intents and purposes, he deserves it. He should be champion, but he should be champion right now.
Oh, that's it then. That's the answer you've got. If he's not champion right now, it doesn't really matter then.
Well,
he
Saif,
can get it later, and then we'll be calling him out on this podcast saying we called it earlier.
Saif, I'm going to let you in on a secret. If you have a dream and a sawn-off shotgun, anything is possible.
You know
I
what?
guess.
I don't think we should. I don't think we should put that.
Maybe I will do that in Minecraft to Vince McMahon. So, rounding back up, rounding back to the Vince McMahon thing, the night after WrestleMania, they announced that WWE has been sold off to the parent company that also owns UFC. So, the McMahons do not own the show anymore, but as part of that sale, they've put Vince McMahon in charge of WWE again. So he's been gone for the last like 6 months because of all the sexual assault allegations that were against him. Well, not sexual assault, but like sex scandals, I guess is more of the appropriate term. So
there was that period of time where it was like pretty red hot.
Yeah, so he left, and then all the wrestlers in the WWE started getting a lot happier. Everything was getting a lot better in WWE. The matches were getting better, the shows were getting better, and Vince McMahon was like, oh, wait, hold on a second, we can't have this. So he's slowly been worming his way back in. He had some oversight of WrestleMania, but not completely. And then the Raw after WrestleMania was the first time he was back in charge for sure. And you could tell because that was the worst Raw in a long time. The first hour.
What does it mean though when Vince McMahon is in charge of Raw? As in he's in the writers' room typing away on the big typewriter for all the storylines, or is he the guy with like the camera operator? Like, what is it that he does when you say he oversees Raw?
He writes the storylines, he books the matches, and he decides the outcomes of everything. So this is where I was going to get into it. So the night of Raw, we find out that the script had changed at least twice by the time the first hour had happened. And people in the crowd were like seeing the script being handed to people all over the place, like for them to like keep on top of things, like the people that called out all the shots and everything. So yeah, that happened at least twice or 3 times during the show. I find that
really funny.
There was a moment where Seth Rollins comes out because he's going to be doing his bit after a commercial break. So before the commercial, he comes out, we see his entrance, and then they cut to commercials. We cut back from commercials, and he's just standing there letting the fans chant his theme song, and then he leaves. and it comes out.
Wait. Did he refuse to elaborate?
He refused to elaborate, yes.
Excellent.
Absolute Giga Chad move.
The fans of the show elaborated, though, because during the commercial break, there's recordings of him, like, bending over between the ropes, like, talking to people, and he's getting frustrated. It seems like as he's out there, Vince has decided to change the card again, and Seth Rollins no longer has a bit to do for the show, so he has to get out of the ring as soon as the commercial's up.
Ugh.
And
that sounds frustrating and delusional.
yep. And the first hour of Raw was commercial free. This is something they do every time it's the end of WrestleMania. Just to get people into the mood of it, I guess. And the first hour of Raw had 1 minute and 43 seconds of actual wrestling.
Hang on, wait. What?
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Like, were they just sit and jacking themselves off for like 40 years?
Yeah, basically, it's it was just a lot of
Steve.
It was just a lot of people talking and cutting promos for a long time, and they only had a very quick squash match in that first hour.
How did they even fit an entire wrestling match into 1:43?
You have one guy that's really big and one guy that's really small, and he just kind of steps on him.
Like in heels, or
if you'd prefer it that way, yes.
If I was Vince McMahon and I was in charge of Raw, all I'm saying.
But yeah, it's come out that every single wrestler backstage is really frustrated now that Vince is back in charge, and the show is suffering for it. Like, he's been back for he was back for 1 day, and it's already a mess. But yeah, that's
I love the idea of him because it's like a joint thing where UFC and wrestling are like part of the same. I think it's to like package deal for like licenses and television and stuff. But I like the idea of Vince trying to rewrite the script for UFC matches.
Oh my god, yes. And when they're not they're not listening to his demands, and he gets really frustrated and tries to cut the match off.
Well, what's to stop them from just wrestling forever?
Getting fired.
Simply leave me on the card, or I will not leave. Like, what are they going to do? Fight? I'm in the ring. I'm wrestling. What are they going to do? Send security guards in to wrestle me? I'll wrestle them too.
Yeah, no, they'll probably just send security get in and take them, forcibly eject them, and then fire them for not being in line.
What's the Pokemon Showdown maximum number of moves in a battle clause? I forget the clause name.
I don't know.
In Pokemon Showdown, there's like the sleep clause and then a couple other clauses, and one of them is like you can't. It's like why you can't have two Wobbuffets fighting each other, or you can't have two.
Turn clause.
Yeah, turn clause. I'm trying to think of like if that was like wrestling, where they just get to like 30 minutes, and they're just like, come on, guys, show's over.
I think it's literally like 1,000.
1,000 seems high.
1,000 turns or something.
How is there enough PP across 6 Pokemon to... I guess there's a way, but...
Well, and there's like, because I've been watching a couple of Showdown videos to get ready for this tournament. There's also, especially in singles battles, there is a lot of like switching. So I'll switch to send something out, you'll switch to send something out, then we both switch, and then we'll switch again. Like, it literally becomes like 1,000 turns of just switching.
Yeah, so that's me done with wrestling. Overall, wrestling at WrestleMania was like a big fat F because of how many matches were just dead air and the main event being such a shit show. But yeah, that's me done. Patrick, sign me out.
Take him away, toys. Wait, shit. Take him away, Steve. That's even worse.
Wait, so is this my turn?
Yes. No, the other Steve.
Well, no, it's just...
Steve Harvey?
So the Pokemon tournament I was at on the weekend, the Sydney Regionals. I'll start with the very exciting news. I actually finished 35th out of 190.
That's crazy good.
I know.
No, it's not top 16, so he can get fucked.
Well, it was actually top. So what happened was 200.
He's so defensive.
Well, no, because it actually goes against my favor. So there was, I think, 223 people that registered and paid the $35, but only 190 actually showed up on the day. They had to. So they had to.
Hang on, wait,
change it.
Did you pay $1 to enter for every person that beat you in the standings?
I know when you think of it like that, yes. With $1 left over. So they had to cut down. So it was supposed to be 9. If all those people showed up, it would have been 9 matches with a top 16 for day 2. But because it was under 200, it was 8 matches with a top 8 for day 2, which everybody was like pretty shitty about because apparently the Sydney Regional was supposed to be the bigger one. And obviously it's one of those things, if you're playing more matches, you got more of a chance to get up. And if it's a top 16 rather than a top 8, you've got more of a chance. But it was actually really good. So I got there at like 8:15, like nice and early.
Sorry, I don't. Well, I do mean to cut you off for a second, but
finally the truth comes out, doesn't it?
You said you're 35th out of 190, but in terms of your wins and losses, how does that play out?
Well, so it's Swiss rounds. So for example, so I lost the first round. I don't know what that means. While we're in that context. So in round 1, I played another guy called Steven. I got to the table, I'm like, are you Steven? And he's like, are you Steven? I'm like, funny. Joke funny.
Mirror match.
Yeah, pretty much. It was his tournament. The first tournament was my first tournament. I'm like, are you me? He's like,
what was your catchphrase?
Don't give him this opportunity.
That was my catchphrase.
And what was other Steve's catchphrase?
He just moved a little bit back. But anyway, so when I faced against him and he literally outplayed me something fierce, I went 2-0 because it's best of 3. And then I was at 0 wins, 1 loss. And then my next match, I was placed up against someone with 0 wins and 1 loss. I beat them. So then the next match, I was at someone with 1 win and 1 loss. And then et cetera, to the point where like it's my last match of the day. I was at 4-3. No, sorry, 5-2, and then I lost, and then I was 5-3. And the way that it's designed, that is that like better people keep like battling themselves. But then at the same time, I think it was in round 3 or round 4, I went up against a guy, and I don't think he had a good team. I think he just got very lucky with the people he was up against because I like. Sorry, Robert, you're a really nice guy, but I flogged you, man.
Wow, even with the like name drop too.
Well, because like I went by myself, there were a bunch of other people that went by themselves, and you sort of just gravitate towards each other because there's a lot of like dead time, and no one sort of really tells you about that. Because I'd probably say about 70-75% of people come in like a group, and then the rest of them sort of don't, and they just sort of are drawn towards each other.
I imagine with the fuller bracket, it would have been less dead air as well. Maybe they booked it out long enough for like there always to be things.
I would have said the other way around. Even with more rounds, it's more like having to organize playoffs. And I don't know. I've been around enough tournament organizers to know that it's not a function of how many people are in there. It's just there is dead time between rounds while they figure out who plays who next.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and they started late as well, so you're supposed to get there. So doors opened at like essentially 8:30 for registration, and I joined the line at like 8:15. And because they were doing like bag check to get in, you weren't allowed to bring any outside food or drink, which is fucked. I still stuck my cookies in. Needed that snack.
Did you put them in a condom and swallow them?
No, I just put them in my bag. And like I opened my bag and he just like looked in and he's like, yeah, okay, you can go in. And like you literally just had to move my jumper and you would have eaten cookies and you would have taken them. Nom, Mr. Security guard. Yeah, but anyway, so then like
tell them now they're going to do it next time.
Did you make eye contact with them?
No.
Oh, so there wasn't. So it wouldn't be a Pokemon battle or anything.
No. He was scared. I would have flogged him. But like because
do you know who I am?
But like I was in that line for like 45 minutes. Like it was just taking so long because apparently there was like a system sort of problem with like registering people when they got there. And then like it was supposed to like matches were supposed to kick off at 9:30, but they didn't start until like 10:15 or something. And like just from like going around talking to people, everyone was like there was like pretty much 45 minutes between rounds. And just there was just a significant amount of dead time, which is what I wasn't prepared for. Then you do sort of make friends and stuff. But yeah, like it was a very interesting experience. And I'm a bit worried that I've gotten a bit overconfident because I like that came 35th. I had a win-loss ratio of like 5 wins, 3 losses. And the way that it aggregates, like because there's a bunch of other people that went 5 and 3 as well. That's just how it's going to be. It puts you up against the way that the ranking work is it's your opponent's win percentage. And then your opponent's win percentage. So I got really lucky. So in round 5, I went up against, round 6, I went up against Megan Rattle, who she came top 4 in Worlds last year, I think. And she's been the Australian champ a couple of times. And literally I was I was very close to beating her. Like she won one game, I won one game. And then we were like, it was 2-on-1. It was her, Ting-Lu, and Glamora against my Great Tusk. And it literally was she spiky shield, and I brick breaked into the spiky shield, and that was it. If I had brick breaked into the Ting-Lu, I would have won, and then I would have beaten her, and we would be having a different conversation. But I had all the information. Going back, would I do it again? Probably. I'd get nervous. I was so fucking nervous the whole day. I'll be really honest with you. But I am just a bit worried that I've got like a bit sort of overconfident.
Were you so on that, like, semi-serious question? I do mean semi-serious. Were you more nervous because you said you lost the first one, right?
Yes.
Did losing
the first match of the day? I lost,
did losing the first one make you more or less nervous?
No, it just made me a bit more like disappointed and frustrated, but only because like I was significantly outplayed. Like it wasn't like a.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
And then did you get into your own head thinking that every match is gonna go that way?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. And I'm like, oh fuck, like should I just leave now? I'm like, nah, look, I paid the $35. I'm fucking here. I'll like, let's go. And then like, yeah, then like the next round I did really good, and the next round I did really good, and then I went like 4 in a row, and then I got like really a bit too overconfident. But then up against
who's my next
Megan,
victim?
Yeah, and then up against
top 4.
yeah, and like I was like 4-1, then I versed Megan, and like someone else had told me her name, and I'm like, oh cool, whatever. Like I probably won't verse her, she'll flog me. And then I actually went up against her, and we're just having a chat. I'm like, oh, is this your first tournament? And she's like, nah. I'm like, okay, cool.
No. All right, you know what? It would have been such a good moment if she said, yeah, I'm nervous. Do you want to put money on this?
Well, I was very close to it. Like literally, that's probably like so. I lost round 1 and I lost round 8. Like single-handedly, I got flogged. Like I outplayed. Yeah, like not embarrassing, but it was like. They did something in game 1, and then I just didn't adjust my strategy in game 2, and I just got flogged by the same thing. And that's probably a little bit on the team, and now I sort of understanding a bit more about the team, my Pokemon team, and like what I could have done as well as other people's teams. But that is what it is. Showbiz, baby. But yeah, that matchup against Megan, like I could have had it. But yeah, and I think I was like more. It wasn't that I was frustrated at that. It was just I was more disappointed in that loss as opposed to the losses where I got flogged. But no, it was a really good day. Made a bunch of friends. Well, friends is probably a strong word. Like a bunch of people that needed other people to hang out with. Played a couple of games of like Mario Tennis because we all had Switch online, so we just sort of connected like that.
Wait. Please tell me people were playing 1-2 Switch.
There was no one playing 1-2.
Could you imagine just
any arms players?
Yeah, all arms, 4-player arms.
No, I saw a couple of people playing Melee.
Man, Pokemon fans have no taste.
Hang on, how are they playing Melee on Switch? Am I crazy? I think that's not available, right?
No, they brought a laptop. No, they brought a laptop.
Okay.
And they just had
right.
Yeah. So
were the Nintendo heads there like really upset about that?
was someone playing Scarlet Violet on like an emulator?
Not that I saw, but maybe.
Why doesn't mine look like that?
the turn-based game with more frames.
You're playing above 25 frames. How's that?
I will say one thing though, because it was like they did Pokemon Go, Pokemon TCG, and the Pokemon VGC at the same time. There was sort of one section for Go and VGC and one section for the TCG. And I sort of like one of the friends I made. He was actually playing in the TCG, so I went over to sort of see what was going on, and like it had a different aroma around it. And I walked into that section, and I was like, it wasn't like a divide or anything. It was sort of like an open sort of,
but you could just tell
arena type of thing. No, and it was like, oh, this is heavy.
This is where the smell starts.
Yeah, and I honestly thought the entire place would smell like. I honestly thought like the inside, because I've been to like Supernova and PAX Australia and that EB Games one they did, and like that always smells, but like it's everywhere. Like, but it was pronounced in one section, and it was the strangest fucking thing.
Was it the sort of thing that like you rock up and because everyone else is there for like a Pokemon tournament, you're trying to guess like which tournament they're there for? Like you just see
really.
a rando and you're like, you look like a Pokemon Go player.
Nah, not really. I didn't really see it like that. But it was sort of cool that because they had like the juniors, which is like the under 13s, and then seniors,
Which is one that you entered in, right?
No,
he was walking around on his knees and he did the thing where he like he's on his knees and he puts the shoes under his knees and he walks around like a toddler.
Instead of being three kids in a trench coat, I'm
You're just a third of a person.
One person in a school uniform.
No, but there were a lot of like families, and that was sort of like there was like one of the guys that sort of like I actually versed him. He was like saying that him and his wife are playing in the VGC. His son is playing in the seniors division, and his daughter's playing in the juniors division. And I thought it was like I think that's pretty like a weird. It's one of those things that's like that makes sense because it's like when you think about sports, you think about if my dad played rugby league, of course I'm going to play rugby league. Well, if my dad played Pokemon, of course I'm going to play Pokemon. And I thought that was like really cool. And there was obviously a bunch of like parents that their kids have dragged out. It's like, oh, well, Mum, I want to go to this tournament. And then the parents have sort of come and they're sitting in the stands, and then those parents sort of became friends with each other. It was pretty like in a weird sort of wholesome way.
I love
It's a communal event.
I love the other reality of that, which is like there's a kid that's just like, can I go outside and play with my friends? And the parents are like, no, you're going to the Pokemon tournament.
Oh yeah,
in the same way that like as you were saying, like you don't want to play rugby league on Saturdays, but it's because your parents did that they make you play. But it's just like it's that but Pokemon.
Mom, I want to dance. No, you're gonna play basketball.
Yeah, exactly. They do an entire High School Musical arc with fucking Pokemon. And then it goes beyond that too, where they're like tactically throwing. They're not throwing hard enough that their parents catch on, but they're throwing like a little bit. That way they don't progress. There's a South Park episode about this. It's very funny.
Yeah, I think I actually inversed the South Park episode and actually went straight for the actual High School Musical one.
But yeah, that's. I thought it was. Yeah, I was really impressed with how I went. I really enjoyed the day. There was a couple of like times where it was like sort of before, like where I was sort of like sitting by myself, like waiting for the next round because I couldn't find anybody. Not really that I find anybody, but there was a couple of times in like the early rounds before I sort of made those connections, or people were doing other things. I was like, oh, hey, I've got like 35, 40 minutes to fuck around. But yeah, like I
was there like a Yugi Moto type operator who had like crazy hair and kept to himself and thought he was like God's gift to Pokemon?
Oh, that might have been me, big fella, because I've got like the silver hair now. And like literally like I'd probably 6 of the 8 people I versed like made a comment. It's like, oh, like I really like your hair. Like, where'd you get it done? Or like, have you always had it like this? Or one guy's like, are you a hairstylist? And I'm like, no.
I don't think hairstylists can do their own hair.
Yeah, like it was just a very strange thing.
Did you tell every opponent that you beat that you were sending them to the Shadow Realm?
Fucking should have. Well, actually, no.
It's not a Shadow Realm. It's Area 0.
Yeah. No. It's the Shadow Realm.
So one thing, like, and it's a weird sort of sadistic thing I'm going to say, but bear with me, fella. So I was in round 4 because I'm literally like looking at the matchups now. There was like one guy I versed, and like it was pretty much like he won 1, then I won 1, and it was like it could have gone either way in round 3, but I did like 2 or 3 good predicts in a row. And then so I beat him. And he's like, you know what, man, I'm just going to go home. And I'm like, nah, stay for the whole day. And he's like, look, man, I'm going. And he just picked up his stuff and he left. Because that was like, because every game that I played, everyone was like a very good sport about it. Like he'd say like, oh, good luck. Yeah, have fun.
GG, shake my hand. Shake my hand. GG's.
Even all those matches that I did win.
You stand up, you pop off, you take your shirt off. GG, shake my hand.
Yeah, but like even all those matches that I did win, it was always like the other person was like, oh, that is what it is. Shake hands. And there was a couple of times that were like, because one of a popular strategy that's run at the moment is Tinglu with Fisher, and like Fisher's a one-hit KO move. It's got a fucking 30% accuracy. I got hit by it once, and I was like, yeah, fucked, dumb move, should be banned. But it happens, and like they recognize it's RNG and I recognize it's RNG, and they're like, that is what it is. And then I'll get a critical hit and I'm like, yeah, fuck you. That's the game, bitches.
So there's a bit of a funny thing. I mentioned before, Evo just happens this weekend, Evo Japan. A professional Street Fighter player did the exact same thing in top 8.
Wait. This sounds like news.
No, this isn't news. Things announced at Evo is news. This is what we've done in the week.
But it wasn't like top 8. It was literally like halfway through the day.
But it's got that same energy when you're watching it.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently like there was a couple of other guys that like that I heard that like when they lost, like apparently one of the guys, he was like 6-1 and then he lost, so he was 6-2, so apparently he just missed out on top 8. And apparently like in the middle of the third round when he knew he was going to lose, he just started like ripping his hair out, like he was getting like chunks out.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, the guy telling me that, like, I'm not sure how exaggerated that was. 'Cause that fucking hurt me hard.
It's because he's going to go home and his parents were like, did you make top 8? He's like, no.
No. His parents were there.
I didn't even fight 8 times.
Yeah, it was, but like that instance of that guy walking out, that was probably the only bad sportsmanship I sort of encountered. Like firsthand, there's probably other things that happened secondhand. That I wasn't privy to.
When you were randomly chatting to other people that were there, sort of by themselves, did you do the weird small talk thing of like, you know, like, so like, what do you do for fun? Like, both of you at a Pokemon tournament on a weekend. You're like, so like, what do you do? What are you into?
No, like everybody was like, it was like unironically like mega organic. We were literally just talking about like Pokemon and like that was it. Like it was like, oh, okay, like, what team are you using? Do you want to have like a quick match? We probably got the time. And it was just only Pokemon chat. Like I remember like literally sitting down for the first match. Everyone's mega nervous. And then some guy's like, do you reckon they bring Mega Evolutions back for Gen 10?
That guy's on full copium.
And then everyone gets the pitchforks.
And everyone just like looked at him and everyone's like, I like Terra. And then like I said, oh, I don't mind Terras. And then like, one other guy looked at me and he's like, I don't. It was just like, it was like between like, because the table like fit like probably 20 people and like, or 20 people front and back, so it would have been 40 in total. But it was like across like a good half of it, we're just having this, what should they bring back for Gen 10? And then, yeah, it was like a very fun, wholesome moment. And that was like, it was a good time that I had. Like, even though I didn't win all of my matches, I did very well, so I'm probably got too much of a big head. But even though there was a bit of downtime between the matches, I still had fun. And even if I did go 0 for 8, which thank God I didn't, because we'd probably be having a very different conversation. Like I'm still very positive, and I'm definitely going to go back. Will I go? Because I'm pretty sure that's the last Australian tournament before Worlds kicks off. There might be some little
Good
ones.
Good thing you're going to Worlds
there.
then, right?
It's in Japan. I didn't qualify. You got to get like 200 points, and I think I got 30 or 40 from this event. I need to check actually.
You know what? That's actually a decent amount for a one-time tournament and coming 35th.
Yeah, it is. Like they're quite rewarding. But so what they've done. So there was one in Perth in February, and there was one in Victoria in Melbourne like a month ago, and I didn't go to either of those.
Yeah, so on that, I've actually got a question for you, like an actual serious one.
It might have been serious too.
Now that you've done one in Sydney, do you see yourself going to like other ones around the country, or even like traveling a bit further out for them, or do you think you just stick to a Sydney one and just go out for a fun time once a year?
Yeah, and that was, I don't know, like going to Victoria, like what? It's an 8-hour drive,
or a 30-minute plane ride.
Yeah, pretty much. And if you plan the day, or like let's say you leave on, because that a couple of people that I versed or met like came from Melbourne or Brisbane, and they were like they'd leave Thursday. And they were going back up on like Monday. So they left themselves a lot of time to do stuff, and they weren't stressed out by like, oh, if we're not there like after work, we're going to lose or something.
Yeah, I should have done that when I went to PAX a few years back, because I left. I had my plane back to Sydney the same night that PAX ended. I should have given myself that extra day lenience.
Oh, fuck, that'd be rough. Yeah, and there probably are ways. because one of the guys I met, like they was playing the TCG. Him and 6 of his mates drove up from Melbourne, and they got like a 6-share hostel room together, and like so it worked out to be like $20 a night for each of them for like the 4 nights or 5 nights or whatever. And they really enjoyed that kind of stuff. They're just all hanging out. So, but I'm not sure like going as a solo player, like if I would do it like that. Like I'm not like I went to America by myself last year. I don't mind solo traveling. It's just that at the end of the day, you are really exhausted and tired, and
you feel like such shit. You just want to play Pokemon.
Get back to the shiny grind.
Yeah. So in a roundabout way of answering your question, I don't know. Going to Perth is fucking prohibitively expensive.
And it's Perth.
Damn it.
Yeah. And it's a 5 or 6 hour flight. It's kind of works in my favor because my partner is originally from Perth, so I've got
what are you doing
friends.
still with her?
Lucky he doesn't listen to this.
She'd probably have my head on a pike.
Or if she believed in daylight savings in an hour's time, she'll hear it. But yeah, so and because I do have to go to Perth like once a year to visit like her friends and her family and all that kind of stuff. I'm already sort of going there, and it is like a bit expensive, so that's kind of weird. But Victoria and Brisbane, very easy to do. So to answer your question in a roundabout way, yeah, maybe. Let's see how we go.
Yeah, no. Even just considering it is a good enough answer, I think it gives enough of a positive experience.
Yeah, it was a very good positive experience.
But
there was sort of the thing at the end of the day where I was like, I can go home now.
How well would you have to place to earn money back or to not lose money?
So I believe everybody that gets top 8 gets something of like varying degrees of payment.
Do they get a $100 gift card for the 3DS shop?
No. Sorry, this expired yesterday. I think I'm pretty sure the person who wins gets $5,000. I'm not sure if it's in cash or if it's in like a travel voucher. That part was a bit unclear to me. And I think the person like the people that come at 8, because there's going to be a bunch of people that come 8 because of the tie. If you reach the top 8, you're getting more than $100 is what I'm trying to say. Which is significant. But at the same time, essentially, if you make it to day 2, you get something. So if there was more than 200 players and they upgraded the top 8 to the top 16, all those 16 players would get something. I think it's just a varying amount.
I see.
Yeah, no, and if you're local, then you're making your money back on the entrance fee. And
plus more. Yeah, but if you're coming from like Perth or something, $5,000 gets you like a flight one way. So I get the feeling that not a lot of Pokemon players in Perth.
It gets you a flight one way and your choice of fresh vegetable.
That's just kind of how gaming tournaments payouts go. If you're local and you get top 8, then you do pretty decently. But if you're traveling and you make top 8, you want to hope you're getting first to at least make a little bit of money back.
Yeah, and especially true with Australia as well, because we've only got like 4 tournaments a year, whereas in like somewhere in America, because I've been watching all like the regional tournaments in America, and they seem to be having like one every week or every fortnight. So you can essentially just get in your car and drive somewhere or fly somewhere. You've got a lot more chances to actually get the champion points and hit worlds. Like in the Oceania region, kind of getting a bit shafted. Like in defense of Pokemon, the amount of championship points we need to qualify for worlds is different to the US. I think the US is 300 and we're 200. So it's like...
So they need to travel a bit more and enter more tournaments than we do.
Yeah, but they have like 4 or 5 times the amount of tournaments.
Yeah.
So it sort of does even out like that. But it's just sort of harder because some of the tournaments are getting like 600, 700, 800 people in the States. And that's pretty much, if you come in the top 50, you're earning the maximum number of championship points, which can be like, the maximum number of championship points can be like 40 or 50, which puts you very close to actually getting in. But yeah, I think that just was sort of more of a behind the scenes go of how Pokemon's going. I'm very, very keen to sort of keep getting into it. I think I'm a bit burnt out at the moment. even though there is a online Pokemon competition on the weekend that I'm joining, but that is what it is. But yeah, Pokemon Trainer Steve signing off.
Cool. Unfortunately, because you signed out after you turned your Switch off or put it into standby mode, it corrupted your save data, so you have to start again. Don't worry, they're working on a patch apparently.
Actually, no. One more thing, and this is probably they had open team sheets, so you literally had to carry a piece of paper around with you and hand it to your opponent. And I found that was a very weird experience because there was like one guy that was like, I think it was like round 2, and he was like, "Oh no, hang on, wait till the match starts, and we're selecting our Pokemon." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, whatever, man." He's like, "Yeah, I just don't want to give you any more time to prepare." And I'm like, "Man," I lost the first round, man. Fuck off.
Yeah, but to be fair, so did he.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I think he was probably just being nervous. Yeah, that was just.
Or he was just trying to be
like,
funny.
What would have been funnier is on your team sheet you write the words, "I have a gun, put the money in the bag." Hand it to your opponent.
Yeah. Well, everybody because I had like a belly bolt on my team, and that was like pretty unique. And everyone was like, "Huh, belly bolt, hey?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "What does it do?" I'm like, "I'm not telling you that."
You'll find out when I play it.
And I'm like, it's an electric type Pokemon, does electric type Pokemon stuff. And then there was multiple times where I'd had belly bolt come in and sweep.
Base
Belly bolt do though.
Yeah, and everyone was like, it was literally like, "Oh wow, that's actually pretty good." And I'm like, "I only beat you because you didn't know how I was going to use it." Because if I was leading with it, it wasn't going anywhere. But if it happened in the back, everyone's like, "Whoa!" But yeah, cool. That's it for me.
Cool. Well, unfortunately, save data corrupted again. Don't worry. They said that the patch will definitely work this time,
rats.
but in order to make it work, they have to reduce the amount of wild Pokemon on the screen at once. So.
Oh no, my audio.
Don't say that. Don't make me nervous.
Critical failure.
Very good. Does Saif want to try and talk about the murder of Sanic now, or does he want to cliffhanger it for next episode?
You know what, Patrick? I'll let you decide that. Do you
Can
think
I
you have
decide?
5
No.
minutes in you?
It's not going to go for 5 minutes.
I will make sure it goes for 5 minutes.
You know what? The audience probably wants to know about the April Fool's joke that is Murder on the Murder of Sonic.
All right.
Murder on the Orient Express. All right, your 5 minutes starts now.
Yep. So, Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. It is a free visual novel that Sega put out on April Fool's Day just for the express purpose of putting out a picture going, "Sonic is dead, someone's murdered him, go find out who it is." And to be fair to them, it worked. A lot of people downloaded it. And it's a really good visual novel. All the characters are written really well. It's probably some of the best writing in a Sonic game in a long time. It's to the point that people are making joke that Sega's form of an April Fool's Day joke is to release a good Sonic game.
That's not the precedent you want to set, eh? Like, can you imagine how pissed people at Sega are when they're like, "Hey, the April Fool's team, the April Fool's team that released that is now doing better than all of the other internal development teams."
Yeah, no, it's got to be like a really weird feeling for them, but I think it's also a testament to them trying to up the quality of Sonic games, even to the point that something small and free like this is doing really well. So just a small premise of what the game is. It's Amy's birthday party, and they go on a train where they host a murder mystery event. So there's 10 characters plus Sonic, and Sonic is chosen to be the murder victim of the murder mystery game. And so it becomes a thing of, well, find out who's the murderer, and it begins as like, oh no, it's just a game, but the moment Sonic is found dead, your OC character you control is like, wait, no, he's pretty banged up. I'm going to check for a pulse, and I don't feel anything. I think Sonic might actually be fucking dead.
And that's when Daniel Craig with a southern drawl bursts in and he goes, "There's been a murder."
No, that's just you the entire time. You are Daniel Craig, the OC.
Okay, that's a different take, but...
So you walk in and go, "There's been a murder," or I can't do it.
That sounded like Adam Sandler in Hotel Transylvania.
they immediately write off that Amy and Tails can't be the murderers because their character sheets say that they're the investigators, and the investigators aren't allowed to be murderers in these games. So everyone else is up for grabs, and it you just kind of talk to everyone, find out their alibis, do a train heist with Rouge and Blaze, which is pretty fun. And it's just a small fun thing. In the end, Sonic ends up being okay because of course he is. They're not going to fucking kill Sonic for real. But the joke landed when they announced it, and that's all that matters.
Do you want to give away who killed Sonic?
No, read it yourself. It took me about 2 hours, so it's not very long. There's a couple of small gameplay sections in there, but it's very quick.
So if it takes Seth 2 hours and he's got the reading capacity of a 3-year-old, I reckon I could do it in 45 minutes.
Go for it. Speed run it.
Speed run it.
Well, the speed run.
Don't read. Just click through everything.
The speed run is you just admitting I killed Sonic, and then the game ends.
Just like this conversation.
I guess so.
No. I'm just very. We've kept it under 5 minutes. Let's keep this going. Wrap it up.
I don't think we should. You're at time. Gotcha.
What the fuck just happened? Was that a catchphrase?
I don't know, but we're still only at like the 4 minute mark, so he's like a minute ahead of making that claim. But I really enjoyed this, and I've stolen a page from Steven's book, and I've got an Excel sheet for my Game of the Year list getting ready, and it's looking pretty good. Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog is in top 2.
It's a visual novel.
It is currently in my top 2 2022 games of the list. Never mind that my list is currently 2 games long.
And the fact that you said 2022.
Oh shit, you're right. It's 2023.
Minor date mistake.
Let me fix that up. Holy shit, I am illiterate.
Wow. All right. You know what, Steve? I back you to do it in 30 minutes. Right. Well.
But yeah, give a score 8 out of 10. I liked it.
I was actually going to ask what would you rate out of 10? Shit, read my mind. Okay, cool. Sweet. Thank you for that. And we're still under 5 minutes. Boom, nailed it. Wow, well done, Seth. Cool. Well, that brings us to the end of Round the Lounge for this week. Thank you both. As always, we get to move on to part 2.
Always a pleasure.
For this week, don't interrupt me, which is, of course, the news. And starting off, you can interrupt me now. You have some fighting game news.
Lots of fighting game news, but not as much as I hoped for. So, as I've said multiple times this episode, Evo Japan happened. During a couple of the top...
Actually, you never ended up saying what happened to the guy in top 8.
Oh, right,
we actually Final Fantasy 14'd you into the ground on that one. What happened?
You know what? I actually just kind of let it slide. It's a big Street Fighter player, Punk. He
CM Punk?
He acted like a punk over the weekend. Wait, what was that? CM Punk?
CM Punk.
He kind of pulled a CM Punk, actually.
I don't get this. CM.
He's a wrestler.
A
former wrestler.
Do I mean steampunk? No, I don't. It doesn't matter. Continue on. I not only have I derailed this story, I have not contributed anything worth of it.
Anyway, Punk was in top 8 on the loser side of the bracket, and he during one of his matches he got he lost the first match, and this is a best of 5 set.
Steve moment.
And he started complaining about his monitor being laggy,
Steve
like
moment.
his.
No.
And
what's the matter? Skull Pilot slowing down for you, there, big fella?
But no, he was right, because other people had complained about it, but other people had put up with it, and one of them, Arslan Ash, for the second block, he won, even though he had to put up with the monitor lag. So yeah, Punk's like, no, this is really important. I want the monitor replaced, and I think apparently he also wanted the game that he lost revoked, so that it would start off the set back at neutral. The tournament organizers didn't allow him to do that, but they did change the monitor, and it took like 50 minutes for them to do this, like doing testing and everything and making sure things are fine. And yeah, it delayed the Street Fighter 6 tournament by 50 minutes. And I wrote that on Twitter that if Punk loses a set, everyone should start cooking him. he lost the set within 4 minutes. And by the end of it, it looks like he had just given up. And there's actually video footage of him getting up and leaving before his character gets KO'd on the last game.
Oh, fucking hell. Bad sport.
So yeah, everyone started cooking him, and he was that bad of a sport about it. He's gone to Twitter and complained about how Japan events fucking suck and they don't compare to American events, and he's never going to travel again. And B, he didn't show up to the top 8 ceremony, so he never received his medal for coming 8th place. He just stayed away from that and just left the venue, I'm pretty sure.
Yo, that medal could be yours now, Steve.
Yeah. Except it's a fighting game, and I take too many showers for a fighting game tournament.
I thought you were about to say that Pokemon's not a fighting game, and I was about to call you out for that. But you not taking enough or taking too many showers, fair enough. I'm back on your side.
You're closer to the amount of showers you need for a fighting game tournament than you are for a Smash one, though.
Yeah, I've had one in my life.
You have had
just one, though?
You have had water on your body at one stage.
Smash players doing that. Oh, I haven't had a shower all year, but it's December.
Oh, ruh-roh.
December 31st.
Right. So what was the actual fighting game news?
So the actual fighting game news is that after the King of Fighters top 8, the SNK ran through a trailer showing their content lineup for all their games, actually. So, surprisingly, King of Fighters 13 is getting a PS4 and Switch port that's going to add rollback netcode.
I thought we hated rollback netcode.
No. We love rollback netcode.
We're in favor of that one.
Then why don't they call it roll forward netcode?
Well, the one we don't like is surprisingly the one that's called delay-based netcode.
I prefer delay cringe, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to say base is cringe now. What kind of clown world is this? Roll back is actually the way forward? I don't know. I don't get this.
Just stick to showering, Steve. You'll be fine.
It's just rollback. It doesn't seem like it's going to have cross-play, which one victory is fine. It's also a little surprising that they announced this for just PS4 and Switch, because there is a PC version of this on Steam, so I would have imagined they would also update the Steam version to include this. But maybe they're just announcing the console version for now and they'll get to PC later. We'll see. They also just reiterated that rollback netcode for Samurai Showdown is going to be coming in spring this year. And a new poster for Fatal Fury. Patrick, you had a joke for this?
Wow, just it needs to happen organically, Saif. Now I've got stage fright.
You handed me the reins, so now it can't happen organically.
This is probably the worst setup for a joke I've ever heard in my fucking entire life.
No, it's good because I want to bury this as hard as possible.
Then why'd you bring it up?
So it would put Patrick on the spot and ruin his joke.
Ruining my life. God damn. My jokes are growers, not showers, Seth. Come on.
All right, you have the floor.
Let me test something out. Poo yourself.
I don't think that's how it works. With not a hint of irony in the world, straight up looked Seth in the eye and then winked, but that was for something different, and then asked him if Terry Bogard was Smash Terry.
And then I said the knife will be in his back in about 7 hours.
So
because I think that's how long it takes to ship.
What? Oh,
I don't get it.
So if the rest of my audio track is animal noises, you know why.
But yeah, they just showed another teaser picture for Garo. Neat, but I'd like to see what this game actually looks like. Seeing Burning Wild Terry Bogard is really neat, though. I love his bomber jacket. And then they showed the content map for King of Fighters 15, showing that Sylvie Paula Paula, is coming in April. Oh, wait, no. She's coming a little later. Kim Capone is coming April 4th, so is already out, actually. And Gonitz from an earlier King of Fighters is coming as a free character. And what's really nice about this is that they're showing a content roadmap. something that multiverses can learn from.
What do you mean? The roadmap is the game. The game is closed.
Oh, that's not a good roadmap at all. I like characters coming out.
So what is the current King of Fighters number? What number are we up to? Is 15?
15.
Okay, so 15 is the latest one.
Yes.
Gotcha. Are you
Are any of them actually good? Obviously not if they keep trying to make
do I have to play them all in order to get the story?
Most of them are pretty good, actually.
They probably... That's not very inclusive. Where's the Queen of Fighters?
You want to go down this road? Because
no, don't. Steve, say no.
I say no. I said no.
Because there is
I can't say no and then you keep no.
There is a game called SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy, which is just a fighting game of the female characters from the SNK's catalog, and it's just a fan service game. So there you go. There's your Queen of Fighters.
What does heroin have to do with any of that? That's like it's an addictive drug. That was funny.
You'll become addicted to these girls. That's what it has to do with it.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Book it into my veins.
Saved it.
We need to look at your definition of saved in a bit, Seth. But anyway, please,
after the Tekken 8 top
roll
8,
forward
we had
into more fighting news, please.
Yeah, so after the Tekken 8 top 8, they decided that instead of showing one character trailer, they're going to show two of them. They announced Leroy Smith, who was a DLC character for Tekken 7 that everybody loved.
Yeah, love him.
He's like a 70-year-old man that practices oh god, what's the name of it? It's the IP man fighting style, Wing Chun, I think. Wing Chun. Yeah. He practices Wing Chun, and he has a little bulldog named Sugar that is wearing a hoodie. Absolutely love this dude. Love his dog. Glad he's coming back. And my main since Tekken 5, Asuka Kazama is coming back. I was a little worried about her coming back because Jun Kazama was announced earlier, and they have basically the same movesets, but it seems like they're going to diversify them by having Jun Kazama have like more priestess, like light priestess combo enders, while Asuka Kazama is more like a backstreet brawler, all up in your face type of character. So it's neat seeing differences like that, even between the same sort of vein of moveset styles. And then Street Fighter 6 happened, and nothing was announced for Street Fighter 6. The director of the game went onto Twitter after the top 8 finished and said, "Sorry, there's nothing to announce today." And yeah, that's the fighting game block done.
Thank God.
Well, while we're thanking him, why don't we also thank him for Pokemon Stadium coming to Nintendo Switch Online?
Yay! So, yep, does everything it says on the tin. Pokemon Stadium's coming to Nintendo Switch Online.
Can I import my Pokemon from Pokemon Blue, Red, and Yellow?
I literally do the headline. Steve says, "Yep, everything it says on the tin," and says the same headlines.
It doesn't elaborate.
But there's no need to elaborate. No, you cannot, unfortunately, bring in Pokemon from Red, Blue.
So I have to play with rental Pokemon.
You have to play with rental Pokemon, which makes
it's trash.
It makes it impossible to beat round 2 from all the... Because there's like one round of the tournament and there's like a second round of the tournament. And my understanding is that they get very hard. And I emulated it last year, as people know from the tier list. And it's the rental Pokemon are fucking shit.
You probably need to get really lucky with the rentals.
It'll be like you'll have to be save scumming for those round 2s. Like it's, okay, I didn't get a critical hit, reload. Okay, didn't get a critical hit, reload. Because there's like one lady that uses like a Gengar and it goes faster than like everything. You have to get like a good damage roll or some bullshit. But like the mini games are coming out. The mini games are fucking sick. Oh god, I love those mini games so much. So soul. I'm blinded by nostalgia for this game.
Are you
I
blinded?
don't have any
enough?
nostalgia for this game. It's neat as adding it to it, but
you're essentially getting half the product.
Yeah,
half the fun of playing Pokemon Stadium was being able to get that expansion pass, click it into your controller, then being able to play Pokemon, whichever one, red, blue, yellow, or green in Japan, in like double speed, and on the big screen, and it was fucking sick. And I have nostalgia glasses
And they have great animations for the Pokemon battles.
Some might say better than Scarlet Violet.
I'll definitely say that. I think it's better than any of the 3D Pokemon games animations.
Okay, you haven't played Pokemon Stadium 2, or Pokemon Battle Revolution.
Mainline Pokemon 3D games. Sorry, let me be.
Pokemon Battle Revolution.
That's not a mainline game.
Yeah, says who?
Says me.
Yeah? I'm in your walls.
Where's Battle Revolution on the tier list, big fella?
I begged you for it.
Yeah, well, whoever made the tier list didn't listen.
Well, we mentioned it.
Wasn't that you?
No, I didn't make that tier list. I just found it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, no, so he found the tier list and then we ranked the things. Like, we didn't just find a finished tier list and be like, yeah, cool, let's just talk.
That's the laziest, like, low-effort barrel-scraping content I've ever heard. It's beautiful.
And we still went for 2 hours.
We did.
Wow.
But yeah, so they did announce this would come out, and they announced Pokemon Stadium 2 would come out, so I reckon in 6 months' time. I am inhaling a big gasp of copium because if Red, Blue, Yellow come out, because they've done the Game Boy Color thing for the Switch as well. They might interact, but Nintendo, they won't because...
Surely, with how many announcements of, Pokemon Home's coming, I swear, things that they've made for literally every game, this is just another one that once Pokemon Home comes out, or they'll just integrate it with Pokemon Home when it comes out, is what I meant to say.
Look, it's been 6 months.
I don't think you can with Stadium.
Well, it's been 6 months. Pokemon Scarlet Violet is still not compatible with Pokemon Home. If the brand new Pokemon game is still not compatible with Pokemon Home, what hope does this have to be compatible?
It is, but it bricks your save.
Yeah, well, it's not, it doesn't.
Roll the dice.
No, that's Pokemon Go. That's not Pokemon Home.
Oh, you don't connect it to Home to get the Go things? Okay, then never mind then.
For some reason, they've just cut out the middleman and made Go connect straight to Scarlet Violet. It's very, very strange, and it feels very, very fucking lazy. Maybe when the DLC comes out, they'll do something, but it just seems like a...
That's still like 6 months away.
Yeah, exactly. Pokemon fans, we really are suffering.
That's crazy because
Game Freak out here saying play our game.
I'm not surprised that it's taken them so long to put that in, given how poorly Scarlet Violet did on launch.
Yeah, it only sold 3 copies, and all 3 of us bought one. So even Saif bought one. He didn't emulate it this time.
No. I bought the last one as well, but I emulated that one. So buying isn't.
Weirdo, man. Isn't
buying
the whole
isn't a contention.
You don't have to spend. Jesus fucking Christ, man! It's psychotic. Oh, I'm gonna emulate, but I gotta still give the developer their money. Either do one or the other. I mean, you can't do both.
I can do both.
Yeah, I know. No, you do. You shouldn't. I'm getting.
You know what? You're right. I shouldn't give Nintendo money for their subpar products.
Not subpar at all. Anyway, move on. What's next? We got Activision Blizzard stuff on the news. Big surprise.
Yes, it's...
It's not related to Xbox, though.
For those of you keeping up on the no Activision Blizzard news for the last X number of episodes, reset that back to 0. We'll start with the good news. Well, actually, neither of it's really good. Okay, well, we'll start with the non-legal news. They've introduced a new support hero. Yay. That can grief their own team. Boo. But he's Thai. Yay. But Activision Blizzard don't really have a way of controlling whether or not people use him to grief his own team. Boo. But he has a really cool Final Fantasy-esque saving thing. Yay. That people will be using to grief each other. Boo. But he also has a cool, I think it's the alt or something, that pedal platform. Yay. Which can also grief your team. Boo. That's it. That's the whole story. The end.
So I want to boo Blizzard a little bit because they're actually cowards and not going the full Final Fantasy 14 route on this, because they've mentioned in this in their little blurb for him is that in terms of trolling people with his life grip ability, which is, if you've played Final Fantasy 14, and I know there's a couple of you that listen to this podcast that do.
Seb, it's just you.
No, it's me and Trinity. Yeah, life grip is basically the rescue ability from that, where you just lock onto a party member and you just tug them towards yourself. In Final Fantasy 14, it's very fun to do the Titan trial fights, jump off the ledge and then rescue someone into the pit with you, forcing everyone else to deal with one less healer and one less tank. But no, they're trying to implement something so that you can't just jump into the void with this new character and life grip them into the pit of hell with you.
And you know what? From everything that I read online, the Overwatch Online community is so level-headed and kind to each other that I don't see this going wrong in any way.
Yeah, that's exactly why Blizzard has to put a stop to it right now.
Let them try. Yeah, that's basically all the news. I don't have anything
How many
more
diversity points do you think he gets on a scale of 1 to 10?
1
1 being Bobby Kotick and 10 being some unknown thing right now.
Sorry, what's number 10 again?
Fucking quantify 10 for me again, please.
Some unknown thing we can't quantify right now.
Right, but is perfectly diverse.
Yes.
So, hang on. So, you know what? I'm not gonna. We are very close to being cancelled. We shouldn't have said anything.
All right, I'll be honest. There is a shovel in my hand, and this could go either way. Maybe it's a Minecraft. I dig down and find lava. Maybe it's a Minecraft. I pull out all the dirt in my pocket and I build myself a platform to the heavens. Could go either way.
You wouldn't be able to dig down into lava if you just got a shovel. You couldn't get through the cobblestone.
No. But it's a diamond shovel.
I still don't think you can get past the cobblestone. Oh no! Now I had the urge to play Minecraft again. I shouldn't have said anything. Man, that itch just never really goes away, does it? God, I can't do it anymore, fellas. I have to go play. Anyway, no. Focus.
All right.
Take a breath.
Saif, where do you think he lands?
I think Blizzard looked at Lifeweaver and said he is a very good 8. He is from Thailand and he is asexual and not asexual. I think he's ace. And
I thought he was pan.
Maybe one of those.
Not read it.
And he uses plants, so I'd assume he's pro-vegan.
Interesting.
Well, he's anti-vegan if he's using plants to fight.
That's literally their food.
No, he's making the plants eat you.
Oh shit, he's into ball. Yeah, probably 8 then.
Weeping Bell is his favorite Pokemon. No, Victory Bell. Victory Bell is his favorite Pokemon.
Careful, guys. The lava's only a tile or two underneath you.
I'll just plant some obsidian right above it.
Okay, so if you're going 8 out of 10, Steve, what are you going for?
Probably a 7 or an 8 as well.
All
Pretty
right.
diverse.
Well, assuming that we're playing by Price is Right rules, I'm going for 8.01 out of 10. Boom, I win.
What if it was
you.
lower?
I'd like
No, we
to
want to be as close to Bobby Kotick as possible, not as far away.
Moving on.
Speaking of Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, and then finally, lucky last, ending with the banger as we always do. It is the banger we're ending with. Yeah, cool. Activision Blizzard decided that paying esports people salaries is probably a good way to stay in business. I don't have anything more to add.
I don't either.
Do we want to add that the Justice Department settled the case, which basically amounts to, you withheld all these money from the players, give it to us instead?
Do they? Surely it's double. Surely it's like they give one to pay the court fees and then one to actually pay the people. Surely.
I wouldn't put it above the Justice Department to just hold all the money that Activision was withholding.
Sounds like justice to me.
That is true justice.
Yeah, I don't really have anything more to add. I think it's an overall win, but still funny that even in the absolute throes of Activision Blizzard being rocked by shitty business practice after shitty business practice, they find time to innovate in the shitty business practice space. Honestly, kind of impressive.
I just also think it's funny that whenever they drop an Overwatch hero, they have something like this follow them up immediately.
Well, you know what they say: no publicity is bad publicity. That's the saying, right?
Bad publicity is good publicity.
That's the intention. But anyway, this is just a good way to put their new Overwatch 2 character out there. They'll be like, hey, now you can also not get paid when you play this competitively. Check out Lifeweaver. He's an 8.01 out of 10 on the diversity scale.
Oh, great. We're going with your score.
Well, I mean, my score's right, so why wouldn't we go with my score?
You know what? You're right. We'll leave it at that.
And when I'm right, I'm right. Am I right?
No, you're wrong.
Jesus Christ. All right, fellas, wrap it up. We're just fucking around now.
That's always our best content.
Yeah, big every episode we've ever recorded energy. Right, well, I guess that comes the end of the news, and therefore tailing off towards the end of the episode even. Seems like we don't have a question to chat this week, which is good because I think we are well over time. Actually, wow. Connection was shorter than I thought. We might actually be on time, or like close to the.
Yeah.
I know the loose idea is that we'll go for 2 hours. It'll happen one day. It won't be this episode.
We actually went under 2 hours last week.
I don't believe you. Pixar, it didn't happen. Which actually is kind of funny because I don't believe you, and that I don't even remember that episode. So entirely possible. Anything that you guys want to hint at for next week?
I don't fucking know.
Which might actually be the week after for me. I'm not sure if I can record next week. Anyway, for next episode.
Maybe we should take a break.
No. It's a tier list episode.
It's not. All right, cool. You can do it by yourself.
Seth gets to rank his favorite. Seth gets to rank his favorite tier list episodes.
I'll rank Monster Hunter weapons just to make Patrick sad that he missed out.
You know what? I will phone in. I know that these go up like later and you don't listen to them live. I will find a way. I will phone in.
You'll know when I'm doing it. I will enter the call by myself and record it.
Partway through, an hour in,
yeah. So how much would be S tier?
Every weapon should be S tier, except maybe
Sword and Shield is double S.
I hate
it. Just makes sense
so much.
I said it out loud and then I realized, oh wait, the initials are actually S and S.
Wait, was that not what you meant when you said it out loud the first time?
No, it wasn't.
Fuck me.
I was just going with the joke that Sword and Shield is the best one.
God damn. Okay, well, all right. Now we're really just shooting the shit. Cool. Wow.
Now the tier list actually has to happen.
Yeah, but without me, there's no need. I don't know. Dual blades, hammer.
Dual blades main here, of course. After spending an episode talking about Naruto, of course he's a dual blades main.
I don't know what that means.
Dual blade mains are the weebs of Monster Hunter.
But you've got two blades. My favorite melee weapon. Anyway, wrap it up. We're fucking around. Some of us have places to be.
Trying.
Not me, but
yeah, I'm the one with places to be.
Yeah.
Fuck both of you.
Moo.
Well, with that, we're now at the end of episode 67. If you have enjoyed what you've listened to, feel free to like, subscribe, whatever it is that you can do on the platform of your choice. Otherwise,
slap that like button.
You can if you want. You have to do it with the same enthusiasm as what Steve told you to do, though. So good luck. But
also hit that funny little bell.
Just
that's a sound it'll make.
Is Steve right? Hit the bell and let us know. But until next episode, I've been Patrick. I'm joined by Seth and Steve. You've been listening to Fast Travel Lounge episode 67, and catch you next time. Goodbye.
Happy birthday to me. It's my birthday tomorrow.